Hello, my fellow Bujo bandits. Uh, I'm laughing because I was having such a hard time getting the angle right on this so that the camera's like not cut off here and there. And I was having such a hard time figuring out how to move the camera around, and I realized I could also like adjust the chair. I don't know. So, okay, let's put it back. I had it so good, and now I went and messed it up. Is that pretty good? All right, am I in frame? Is that good? I try not to look at the preview and look at you up here. Hi. Yesterday I did a setup video. I know, two videos in a row. Crazy. But I did mention my weight loss journey during that video, and I have a little time in between clients, and I'm in the Downers Grove office today, which is not my office. It's just a random office I use on Tuesdays in Downers Grove, and it's got the standard leftover furniture decoration of like one guy asked me once. He's like, "Why is there a picture of like England on the wall?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't have an answer for you. I don't know." So, anyways, how do I get to the controls on this thing? Okay. So, anyways, let's talk. Yeah, this isn't bullet journal related at all. This is just me talking about my weight loss journey, but I think it's absolutely relevant. And hey, for what it's worth, I took notes on what to talk about in here, so it's not going to be a complete ramble. But okay, I reached my peak weight, which it's funny how you think you know these numbers and then you look back and realize you were wrong. I've been operating under the belief that my highest weight was 222.2. I did see something in my Galaxy Health app that said 222.4. Whatever. It was 222 pounds. I am 5'7". I am below average height, and I've always been of a fairly narrow build. Like, I'm not a big guy. So 222 pounds is a lot. And the way I got like that is by just not paying attention, not taking care of myself. And it got to the point where, my life changed. The way I lived changed. But also my relationship with food was very much that of sort of addict behavior. Like I'm an addict. Like I'm in long-term recovery, but I identify as being someone with an addictive personality. So okay, let's look at the notes. Fair warning, this is going to be very personal and very honest. So not a lot of censoring about my thoughts on things during this. So just sort of be aware of that. If you're like, oh, I don't want to hear about, physicality of being overweight, then just heads up, that's going to be a thing. The other thing is that I understand that there are many other people who have been much bigger than I ever was, and so I don't want to say, I don't want to, in no way should anybody take this as me minimizing anybody else's experience or saying, oh my God, you're so big. The same length, don't do that. Don't minimize mine, right? Like sometimes I'll tell people I was 222 and I'm talking to a guy who's 6'3", and in great shape, and he's like, oh, I'm 220 now. I'm 5'7". I'm not a big guy. Okay, 222. How did I get there? Slowly over a period of time. Once upon a time, I had told myself I could never imagine being over 200 pounds. Like the idea of that would be crazy. When I was in my best shape in my 30s and I was running a 5K, I would go out and run 3 miles, 2 or 3 times a week. And I could do 42 push-ups at night and all that. I was 164 pounds. I'm a slender build. That's the kind of person I am. So gradually over time, and I remember hitting 180 and being like, this is too much. And I remember as those 10s would go by, 190 is too much. And I remember I would never go over 200. And then I just was. And the horror that I had told myself that would be there when I reached that weight wasn't there. It didn't exist. I gotta stop holding the book because I like to use my hands and I can't when I'm holding the book. Now I'm looking down. This is fine. I know how to make videos. So one of the things was the way that I ate had gotten insane. But what's crazy is that I didn't know it was insane because I was doing it. Like at the time, it didn't seem insane to me. And again, this is just for me. Like if you are, everybody's journey is their own. Also, I've also learned that nutrition is not a one-size-fits-all thing, like how someone eats or what diet works. It's not cut and dry. It is not at all like everything works the same for everybody. It's kind of wild. So I had become very hooked on fast food, specifically McDonald's. At my worst, when I was in my 220s, I would eat at McDonald's. There's one in between my house and my office, and I have ADHD, so I put everything off to the last minute. So I would leave barely in time to get to work on time. So I would go through the McDonald's drive-through, and at first I would get whatever. I'd get a cheeseburger, fries, and a drink, but it would be like a large Coke, and it would be a large fry, and it would be like a double cheeseburger. The only reason I didn't do quarter pounders is because I didn't like the new onions. But eventually it got to the point where it was like, yeah, but I don't know why this made sense at the time, but I was like, let me also get a 6-piece nugget that I can eat in the car on the way to the office, because it's not very satisfying to eat a burger and fries in the car, because I like to dip my fries and I'll do that there. So then I was getting 6-piece nugget and a burger and a large fries and a large Coke, and a Frosty if it's a special day. Sometimes I would go twice. Like I would go in the afternoon, and then if I was going to go to a meeting or something in the evening, or if I was out, I would eat out again. And sometimes McDonald's twice in a day. And there's a certain amount of there was a certain bit of shame in that for me, of eating specifically McDonald's 2 times in a day. I would do this 3 to 5 times a week. I was eating McDonald's for most lunches during my work week, or ordering Jimmy John's at the office and having a big ultimate porker with cheese and a chip, a large Coke. Sorry, this is turning into a menu list, but the point was it was also candy. I have a very unhealthy relationship with candy. I crave it. I can never have enough of it. And I was getting candy. It got to the point at the end where I was stopping for candy every single day on the way to work. I would stop at a gas and wash to get a big bag of candy, candy Nerds, or the candy covered chewy Nerds. There used to be a candy store right here by the Downers Grove office. I would go every time I was here. I'd bring the clients with, and I didn't see anything weird about my overweight self, my overweight ass. Hey clients, let's go for a walk. Oh, hey, while we're out, let's stop at the candy store. Oh, I'll get some, and I would get not a little candy. And I would do the same thing that I used to do with weed and alcohol when I was in active addiction, which is I would buy a bunch and tell myself this is going to last me a long time, and then I'd eat it all in a day. I'd use it all in a day. And I'm 47, so this is happening at a time when I'm 45, 46 years old. When I eat that much candy, my pancreas goes into it's on fire, right? I'm sweating, my teeth hurt, my tongue is raw, right? It doesn't feel like, I can tell I shouldn't be doing this. I can I used to feel my pulse in my eyeballs, right? Because of all the sugar that I would eat. And then I would get headaches sometimes when I woke up in the morning. I'd get these sugar withdrawal headaches that were really bad. Speaking of sleep, eventually my snoring got so bad that I had to get a CPAP machine just so that my wife could sleep. But additionally, I couldn't nap. If I tried to nap during the day, go to sleep without the CPAP, I would choke and wake up, right? There was so much weight on my esophagus that I couldn't breathe, and I would wake up suddenly and in a panic. So I basically couldn't nap anymore unless I strapped on the CPAP machine. The other part about sleep was that, or in general, I had gotten to the point that I was hot all the time. I was constantly overheating, and I couldn't go to, if I went to bed, Jenny would have her heating blanket and the blankets on, and I'd be in my boxers on top of the blanket, ceiling fan on, air conditioning running, just starfishing on top, sweating, right? Hot all the time. The idea of wearing a sweater seemed absolutely inhuman to me. I couldn't imagine why anybody would ever put on a sweater. And the denial of it, right? At no point was I well, yeah, that's because you put on all this weight. No, it was, that's just how I am. I run hot, right? This isn't true anymore, by the way. Now that I've lost weight, it's easy for me to get cold. I actually experience temperature variation, which is crazy. So what else was there? Yes, there was the sleeping, the CPAP, the not being able to nap, the tent shirt. So all my clothes started not fitting. I was in denial of how big my waist was. That we'll get to that later as part of my I don't want to call it a bottom, because I thought it was actually a positive reason to change. But jeans are very forgiving, is what I learned. But everything, all the shirts that I owned, all the t-shirts that I owned, started to do this thing where once they hit my belly, they never came back. They never touched, the bottom of a t-shirt never touched my pelvis, because my belly was a tent. And I hated knowing that there was just this open air exposure of my lower belly to the floor sort of thing, because my stuff didn't fit right anymore. I had a ton of clothes I couldn't wear anymore. I started making a section in the closet, not because I actually believed I would lose weight and wear them again, but because I'm just too lazy to do anything about it. So what else? Oh, okay, so this is where it gets personal. If you don't like it, heads up. Forward like 30 seconds. It reached a point where I realized, like, if I was on the shower and looked down, I just couldn't see my Johnson anymore. And I hated that. I hated the idea that, like, it had become a stranger to me. I'm not laughing because I'm embarrassed. I'm laughing because I feel like you might be embarrassed. And I can just picture Jenny being mortified. Fortunately, she never watches any of my YouTube videos, so she'll never know that this conversation happened. I could no longer, I couldn't hug other big dudes. Like, I remember the first time I ran into somebody else that I hadn't seen in a while who had a big belly, and we go to hug each other, and we, like, couldn't get our arms around each other because we both had big bellies. So that wasn't great. Hot all the time, no sweaters. I couldn't hug people. I would run out of energy so fast. Like, I remember hating having to go up the stairs at work, and sometimes having to, like, take a break on the way up, or I'd get to the top and have to just breathe to take a break. Oh my God, if I dropped anything, there was this moment, like, if I dropped something, there would be this moment where I would have to decide whether or not it was worth going after. Or I had this moment of, like, I just had to accept the fact that I was going to have to go get it. And picking something up off the floor, if I was sitting in a chair, required an exhale. Like, I'd be like, okay, here we go. And then I would go down. And hopefully I got it, because if you didn't get it right away, you don't have any air in your lungs. Tying my shoes, like, I could not. Sometimes I had to go down twice to tie one shoe because I couldn't do it in time. Because not only am I exhaled, but, like, there's all this pressure built up from my belly being compressed. And I couldn't put my foot up on something in order to tie my shoe. That wasn't an option. And if I sat cross-legged, like, okay, let me see if I can show you this. So it's just not my talking head the whole time. Like, if I sat cross-legged when I had all that weight, like, I couldn't just do this and sit. Like, in order to get my foot up there, I would have to grab the heel of my shoe like this, and then I would have to, like, hold it there. Because I like sitting like this, and I sit a lot during the day, but I'd have to, like, hook my fingers around my shoe like this in order to keep my leg up on keep my ankle up on my leg, because I was too big. There was too much resistance pushing it back down. It was like being on an incline. So, yeah, a lot of mobility things started coming up. I was fragile. I felt fragile. I still feel a little fragile because I've only just started exercising. I did day 2 of a C2 5K today. It's in my bullet journal. But I haven't started a lot of strength, and I didn't use it. By the way, exercise was not a part of my weight loss journey. I'm not saying that's good, but it is true. Other than walking a little bit during the day, like about a half hour a day, I haven't done any exercise. I just did it with the Weight Watchers app, which I'll talk about later. How long are we at? 12 minutes? Oh God, you guys are saints. I don't know why anybody listens to any of this. So let's see. Let's easily winded. I already said knees sweet. My palms are sweaty. Knees weak. Arms are heavy. There's candy in my mouth already. Yeah, I already said that. Hot all the time. I already said that. Late night food, dude. Hunger was my master. If I felt hungry, I ate 100% of the time. Like, that was it. And I would get out of bed. I would, like, because I tend to stay up late. I'll often stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning because I don't have to get up. I don't work till the afternoon. And I would go downstairs at 1 o'clock at night and have a meal, basically, like a whole thing of popcorn or a peanut butter and jelly on an Eggo or a bowl of ice cream, or who knows. Like, it didn't matter. I would just eat and then go to bed. And I, like, it was just a matter of fact. There was no, it was almost like I wasn't making a decision. Like, it was being made in my lizard brain back here, like, oh, hunger, go eat. So I just go eat, even if it wasn't necessary. Like, that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned in the weight loss journey, is that it's okay to be hungry. It is perfectly fine to be hungry. There's no reason I can't be hungry. It's fine. It's mildly uncomfortable. If I distract myself, I don't notice it. Honestly, a lot of the times I just have some freaking water and I'm fine. That's all it took. But hunger was my master. I ate late all the time. I ate whenever I wanted to. Let's see. Oh God, when I would have ice cream, I would go through like a carton. I mean, I know they're not like a gallon of ice cream anymore because everything's shrunk, but Jenny would bring home one of those Edie's slow churned ice cream things. And every serving of that for me was like a third of that container, just huge fucking bowls of ice cream. Yeah. And what's crazy is I'm not more satisfied by that than I am by 1/3 of that. which is what I've discovered now. Also, in Weight Watchers, like a half cup of ice cream is like 9 points out of 22 in a day. So thank God I don't even bother. There's better alternatives. Let's see. Oh, and if I had like popsicles, which are like lower points or whatever, or like not as bad for you as the ice cream, I'd have two, right? I'd have like a healthy choice fudge bar. I'd have two healthy, three if nobody was looking. That's, so nobody would judge me. My belly felt huge. Like, I remember I would look in the mirror and I would like put my hands on it and I'd look at it and I'd be like, what happened? Like, who are you? What is this? It's so big, like just so big and like pale and stretchy. And so it made me so unhappy, right? I would just look at it and I'd be like, what happened? I was never like mean to myself, like you're so fucking fat, or, I knew I was overweight and I was unhappy with it, but just, I once went, oh God, I remember I was on a walk in downtown Downers Grove and I went to the Tivoli Bowl. And at the Tivoli Bowl, they had just put in these mirror walls where, like over by the billiards and stuff. I didn't know they were there. I hadn't been there in a long time. So I walked around this corner and I was walking and I remember walking around the corner and seeing this mirrored wall. And I had not prepared myself to see my reflection, which is clearly something I would do, right? Like before I look in the mirror, I would suck it in, kind of present. And I didn't. So I saw myself like without that denial presentation, and it was brutal. I was like, no. I was like, yeah, it was like a veil got pulled back, and it was like this reality of how I had looked. And it's hard to find pictures that really show how big I had gotten. Some of them do. I'll try to find a thumbnail for it. Yeah, bending over was really hard. Okay, so here we go. The wedding. This is the beginning of the end of being heavy for me. I was asked to officiate a friend's wedding. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Bailey. And they are not watching this. I doubt they watch bullet journal videos. I doubt they watch my channel. So they asked me to be the officiant in their wedding, and I was super honored to do that. I knew that I'd put on weight and I was going to have to go get a suit. So I go and I tell her, she says, what's your waist? And I tell her the waist size of the jeans that I've been wearing all this time. Jeans are forgiving. And I said, well, 36. And she kind of gives me a look, and then she does the measurement thing, and she looks up at me and she goes, you're not a 36. And I was like, oh, did it go up? And she's like, yeah, you're a 44. I was like, oh my God. What? And she was right. Like at 44, we're pretty snug. But also, because I'm 5'7", right, and because I have this big honking head, I have a huge head. It doesn't look like it, but I do. And this weird neck, and so my arms are short, my belly's wide, I'm short, so like shirts don't fit. I have to either get custom made shirts or I end up with a shirt with a neck that's too small. And in this case, it was so small that in order to close the buttons on the shirt I needed for this wedding, I needed two extenders. They're these little plastic loop things you put on to close. I couldn't close. I needed two extenders. I needed a new suit. And that was pretty telling. And the amount of sweating that I did. We get to this wedding, and here's why I think this is not a negative bottom, but like a positive bottom. When we got to that wedding, I love dancing at weddings because I'm a jackass, and I like to dance like a jackass, right? I like to be a spaz. I like to do the taco and comb the hair and mow the lawn and wash the window and change the oil or whatever joke dance I made up. And I couldn't, because I get tired. I would get tired so fast, right? And it was so hard to move around. And it was so easy to like throw my back out because I was carrying around all this extra weight. And I remember seeing this young guy on the dance floor, and he was killing it, man. He was killing it. He was all over the place. And that used to be me, like having fun, just being a jackass. And so it was just watching all of these young, healthy people. I sound so old, but it's true. Watching all these young, healthy people really enjoy themselves. Hell, even older people than me, but they were healthy and they were in, good shape and able to enjoy themselves, and not feel so, uncomfortable in their own skin, combined with like how bad I had gotten with the candy. And I guess that's what I needed. I had signed up for Weight Watchers. This isn't an endorsement of Weight Watchers, but I will say that it absolutely enabled me to do this weight loss. I signed up for Weight Watchers actually months prior. The wedding was in September of last year, 2023. I had signed up for Weight Watchers during November the year before. Moderate success, fell off the wagon. I don't know, and I don't think anybody can really say what it is that finally clicks in someone when they decide to make a change, because that's what so many people say. Well, what did it for you? How did that change happen? it's different for everybody, and it's not clear to me. But at that point, like after that wedding, I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do different. Like, I don't think that I was ever not handsome to Jenny, but I wanted to be more, right? There was also some with that weight came like some ED stuff that happened as a result of that, and it was absolutely weight related because I lost the weight and I lost the issue. So that was a thing. So I started on Weight Watchers. I didn't do the exercise. I didn't bother with strength training or anything like that. I just followed the plan. And the reason I think it worked well for me is because of being in recovery, long-term recovery, in a fellowship where I was given a program a long time ago and told, if you do this program, it works. You can get clean. You can become a better version of yourself. And that's what I wanted to hear again. It's a better version of me, not a different person, just a better version. And I found it was fairly easy. Like, I don't want to say easy, but it wasn't complicated. There's a lot of, they call them 0-point foods you can eat that you can eat as much as you want. Eggs, lean chicken, lean turkey. I know eggs, right? And there's some people who are, they're kind of like jackasses, and they're like, so you can have as many eggs as you want? No, don't be dumb, right? Like, don't eat 9 of them, but you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to count that. You can have popcorn. You can have as many fruits as vegetables as you want, basically. You can have as much fish as you want. You have all these things, and that made it easy for me. It's clear that they're focusing on like whole foods now instead of, just calories. Candy is off the charts, but candy is off the menu. I chose to abstain from candy because abstaining is easier than moderating. I want to say that again. This is coming from someone with 26 years, actually on the 17th, it'll be 27 years in recovery, for which to me means I don't use any drugs or alcohol, and I don't smoke cigarettes, and I don't eat candy, but it is easier to abstain. I'm also an addictions counselor since 2009. I'm a certified addictions counselor. Abstention is easier than moderation. It just is. You don't ever have to wonder about whether you can or can't or should or shouldn't or how much or when or whether they're doing it and when they're going to do it and if they're going to be doing it before you see them and how much they're going to do and whether they're going to have any with them when you see them, and all of that goes out the window. It doesn't matter because I'm not doing it, right? And the other thing about abstaining that people seem to get wrong is that they think when I say I'm abstaining from candy, they think I mean for the rest of my life, and I don't. I am talking about now. I'm talking about right now. I don't eat candy now. So when I have a temptation or a craving hits me, today I took some graham crackers down out of the pantry, and we had just been like at a cabin over the weekend, and there had been leftover chocolate bars for s'mores, and she had hid them sort of in the graham cracker box, certainly on purpose, so that I wouldn't see them because I've asked her to like not leave candy around. And I reach in to kind of look at the graham crackers, and I see the sides of a Hershey bar, and I was like, what is that? What is that? Those are Hershey bars. And literally the very first reaction I have to that is like, fuck yeah, Hershey bars. And like literally, even though I'm abstaining, and I had to have that moment of like, we're not eating candy today. I'm not eating candy now. I don't care about the rest of my life. It is unrealistic to say, I swear to God, I'm never going to eat this thing ever again. And that makes it so easy to fail because you're like, what, I'm never going to do it again? That's ridiculous. I might as well just do it now. So I think it's very important to just be honest and say, this is what we're doing. It is temporary. It is not permanent. I'm not eating candy now. And that, when you look at the 12-step programs, there's one that says a day at a time. There's another one that says just for today. The point being is that it's just in the moment. That's how you get the advantage over the addictive craving, right? So that's why I don't eat candy. I would have said I love candy the same way I would have said I love whiskey, but now I'm trying to be more specific. I crave candy. I don't know if that's love. I don't think I should call it that. I don't think that's the right word for it. And so I don't have it. I don't have to worry about if I'm never going to have it again. That is an irrelevant point. The future is fiction. I don't have to worry about that right now. I'm just doing it one day at a time, just now, that's all, and it's working for me. The weight came off steadily. So I started in September 25th, 222 pounds. As of today, I'm at 171 pounds. So I'm down 50 pounds. And for context, one day years ago, I like weighed a gallon of milk, and a gallon of milk is about 10 pounds. So 5 gallons of milk. What I like more is we used to have a water softener and a bag of salt for a water softener, one of those big heavy SOBs with the plastic handle on top. That's 44 pounds. That's pretty heavy when you hold it. So I've lost more than that. So to think that I was just lugging around that kind of weight is crazy to me. The advantages of having lost all that weight is that I no longer need the CPAP. Not only do I not need the CPAP to nap, I don't need it to sleep. I have mild apnea. The CPAP was mostly so that I would stop snoring so loud that Jenny couldn't sleep. So now I don't have to wear the CPAP, which means we can cuddle more, which is great. My blood pressure plummeted. The last time I was at the doctor's, my blood pressure was 100 over 60. It was never super high, but that's fantastic. That's amazing. I've been taking omeprazole for GERD for like a decade. And just for kicks, we were like, what happens if you stop taking it? Nothing. I don't have to take it anymore. I don't have, like, the GERD's gone. I don't have acid reflux anymore. What else? I'd say I sleep better, but I must because I don't need the CPAP, but I haven't really noticed that. I don't get winded as easily. I don't get hungry as often. So like my stomach's like this big now. I don't have to eat that often. And when I do, I don't have to eat that much. Sometimes I think like, oh, I'm going to eat all this food. I'm going to, here's a cheat day. I'll order something and I can't finish it, right? Like I don't even want to finish it because it's not there. Oh, the other thing is that now if I eat like really bad food, like shitty greasy food, dude, it has an effect. Speaking of things that are benefits of losing weight, like that whole thing about like I was kind of sad that I couldn't see my junk anymore. I can. That's a thing now. So that feels good. I feel more like me. And what's great is that I remember if you look back on the channel, there's like me trying to do C2 5Ks while like recording it and talking about how hard it was. I mean, I was 215, 220 pounds when I was doing that. And it was really rough, and I would hurt myself very easily. I would get I would say heel zaps, right? Like I would pull tendons and stuff. And who knows, maybe I'll hurt myself again, but the last 2 times I've run, it's been amazing. It's just felt so good. It feels more like it did when I was a kid. I used to love to run because I could run real fast. When you're a teenager and you can run so fast that like the wind is buffeting your ears, like you can hear like if you wear like noise canceling or like ambient sound headphones and the wind blows, you can hear it all in the microphone. Like that's what it sounds like when you're young and you can run really fast. And I don't think I'm ever going to be that fast again, but just it felt good. I felt more like me. I get to buy new clothes. I had to buy 2. I'm on my second new belt that I had to buy. And people notice, and that feels good. One thing about halfway through, when I lost about 25, 30 pounds, and I remember mentioning it at like a party, and somebody said like, well, it is easier for guys. Don't do that to people. And I was like, don't do that. That's not cool, right? Maybe you're right, but nobody's going to take that well, right? Like, what is the point of saying that to somebody who has, done the work to take off the weight? The other big advantage I would say is that my younger sister Sheila, who is pretty sick and has struggled with her own weight and her own addiction, and she's sober now, has been sober for a couple of years. She because I had such success and talked so positively about it, she jumped on too, and now she's down 30 pounds, which is crazy. She's 4'10", so if you have a 4'10" person who loses 30 pounds, that's like more than me losing 50. You know what I mean? Like ratio-wise. I can't wait to see her. I'm going to see her later this week. And I'm so proud of her. I'm so amazed that she has all these health issues, and despite that, she still decided, she's like, and, why don't I lose some weight? Which is like amazing. But anyways, so I'm really happy with it. Can I guarantee I'll never be big again? No, but I can guarantee that I'm not going to do anything today that's going to push me in that direction. And that's all that matters, is what you do before you go to bed. If I'm really tempted, I can go to bed. I still use Weight Watchers. I don't know. Somebody asked me, are you going to just do Weight Watchers forever? And the answer is no. At some point, I am going to stop paying them a monthly fee to use their app. But between now and then, I think I'm going to learn how to eat. I'm going to learn how to be better about it and be more responsible and know how to eat. Because I eat a lot. One thing that did benefit me is that I will happily eat the same thing most days. Right, so my breakfast every day is the same, and it's very light and basic, and I'm fine with that. Someone was like, are you neurodivergent? Because it seems like neurodivergent people tend to be more okay with having the same thing every day. And I was like, I don't know why I was like mildly offended, maybe because I was like called out by that. I was like, I like to think of it as neurospicy, but yes, I am. Uh, if that makes it easier, fine, so be it. But a little diversity wouldn't hurt. Anyways, so that's it. I'm very happy to have lost all this weight. I feel so much better. And, if you're thinking about doing it, just start. You don't have to commit to forever. You just start doing it. Do it today, go to bed, and then tomorrow make the same decision. Something may click for you at some point. Something clicks, and then you're able to have the motivation to move forward and do it. That's what worked for me. So hopefully this was helpful to somebody. Hopefully somebody actually watches this from beginning to end, because I don't have any. This, me, like my videos are all very basic bitch videos, right? Like there's no background music, there's no like transitions. There's not gonna be any pictures popping up to show me on my journey of here, like this is me earlier, like, and then this is me. That's all you're gonna get, except for a thumbnail. I'll put a thumbnail up with like a before after. So hopefully that's helpful. Comment if it did. And here you go, 2 videos in 2 days. Amazing. And who knows, maybe I'll make another one later this week if I'm still feeling inspired. You know how I go. All or nothing. I'll see you guys later.